Okay, let's design a mailbox today. Why not? We need Blender and a reference of a mailbox. I think Wayfair website has one. Let's pick something with enough details. Looks simple too. I think I've seen this up used with the post. Let's look it up here. I think I saw one the other day that I really like to design the simplicity. Maybe I searched it. It's most likely that I searched it as a separate word like that. Maybe it was a blue version of this. Something like this. Yeah, maybe I think this is the one that I was hoping to design. Yeah, and the dimensions were given. So we could actually plug this in and see how it goes. Okay, so this is what we are doing today. Good enough, right? We'll first start with the imperial measurements and then switch to metric, and we'll go from there. So first of all, we need a cube. We'll just elongate it. Blender. Save this file in their models. Right there, let's call this. And maybe we'll have multiple stuff. Okay, be sure we are in the right unit. Not. We'll switch it back. We want this to be 20 and 1/4. So 20.25 along this axis. Put N to 12 feet. Change this to inches. Going to be 25. Then the part that I'll never get about the imperial system, like how is this inconvenient? 7/8. Okay, so in decimals there's really no way of. It's almost half, a little over half, and what the fuck is this? 7/8. That's why I use metric system. So 6/7/8 in what the so this should be here, so this should be, let's call it 10. Something is happening for sure. In Y it's going to be 6/7/8. We could just call it 7. Right? This is 8.5 inches. Okay, that looks like the mailbox. Good enough. Now, of course, the total height is 8.5. Okay, so in here we actually need to like this subdivide the top base. If this was all planted at the top, it would be this. Need to bring parts of this item. You know, it has to make a curve like this. Bevel it. Try that. See how it goes. Let's do the transforms. Okay, done. Switch to metric. And then edit mode. Let's see. If you choose these two, does it work like that? The bevel modifier? Doesn't. Because it's applying it to the whole geometry, right? Not the edges. Yeah, that's not going to work. So we could do Control B. This is close enough. Right? Looks like everything here is equidistant. And it's nice low poly mailbox. Needed will detailed, but say it's done. Because normally our camera angle, maybe we'll get this far close, I don't know. We might. Good. So we need holes like that, screw holes. I believe the underneath is a little bit hollowed like this, so that it would actually sit on top of the post. Good. This is Photoshop for sure. Piece of wood doesn't really look good. Here's a side view. Okay. Let's try to do this flippy part, right? Maybe we'll put details like this too, just in case, so it's pleasant. The flippy part is some thickness for sure, could do that, and like an L shape. Then we'll do the lid part, like separated and extruded, that kind of thing. The neat part, yeah, as I was guessing, there's a bit of. Sure. We don't need that much detail. I'm curious about is that there's a hole here. There's another hole that's facing right underneath. Is it? Yeah, here too. The 4 holes that are at the bottom. And then 2 more here, so 6. Maybe we'll actually even have 2 facing this way too. Is it because you can actually open the top and then screw it from top to bottom? This size screws are. Yeah, so these are those holes that I made. Yeah. A good diagram. So let's do this detail here, this bevel it, such. Enter the side part here. We'll do something like this. The base. I want to cut it. Do it this way. It's going to cut all the way around. Subdivision. Do subdivision here too, and we gotta do this twice. Then I'll bring this edge UI. Then these vertices we should join them. This edge we should be X. This. Okay. This is the inset part. So this has to sort of sink in a bit or extrude it. Whichever style we are following. Could extrude it out so that this pin here is holding it. In other words, this has to be. When you do it that way, it's not going to work. So you do G, sort of E, okay, something like. Just the light, I think. It's the ambient occlusion, right? Yeah. Could also be that. Okay. A bit harsh, but it's okay. It's going to have the flippy thing, and the back is not important. Okay, so we could consider this sort of like 2/5 of the length here. Something like we pretend that we are subdividing this area. So we'll move it GX. Just this one. Alright. Okay, we'll dissolve this after. What I want to do, I want to use this, so let's duplicate place, do P, the selection, so that is a new thing. That we could actually move it out in object mode, of course. Okay, we still have this base here, but if we merge them, so get rid of the vertices, we don't. So let's dissolve that edge. Do that, the vertices are gone. So we need to complete this rectangle shape to this L-like shape. So we already have the flat part, we have to put this part here. Go into this object, let's delete this, and essentially we are subdividing. I don't want to add a lot of like 4 or 5 times of page loops there, only to delete the remaining part. If possible, maybe. Okay, so this is the extension part. We do extend, and we maybe should do Z. This will do the curvature here. So this is going to be angled. So the middle part is going to be X. This. We could afford some beveling there. If we bevel a vertex, what happens? So Control B. I think there was an extension that actually adds more vertices here and there. If I recall, maybe I never enabled it, but I saw a YouTube video recently. That might actually be available for edge mode. Likely that I don't have it enabled. Let's try angle of edge. So we are after beveling this, sort of like creating a curve here, right? It's essentially adding a few vertices, but kind of curious. Edge run define. Did this. And then here's when we undo, and then we just do things. So what are we actually trying to do here? We want to have an equal amount of curve. Right, yeah, on all those one corner, second corner, third corner, and then all around we gotta have the same curve. Which makes me think now might be a good time to use the bevel. Doesn't do anything because this really doesn't have much geometry. So let's actually apply a solidifier. Okay, solidify, and maybe we should take this to before. How do we do that? Move to first. Font is we also probably don't have enough geometry, so perhaps a subdivision. We definitely. Okay, what if I don't want to move first? Okay, maybe this is the drag and drop. Disable the bevel first. Here's solidifier for sure. We kind of need this. That is good. I like this. Maybe we'll adjust this a bit better, but I think this is as good as it can get. So this is not applying, so let's simple or not, can't make it work. So maybe I'm not approaching this the right way. splits the faces into smaller parts, giving it a smoother appearance. Sounds like what we need. So when this is applied, if I enter the edit mode, I'm still left with this original geometry. All this is happening because I might have to apply the solidify and create my own edge loops here and there, because otherwise when it's an equal amount of subdivision, this looks like a sharper corner here than this one is, because there's a longer distance to cut the, so it doesn't let you choose the axis on which you are subdividing. Here's even more subdivision, which makes this look even more odd. Yeah, this is what you can see here. Like one cut, second, third. So the same thing happens here too. This is the original edge. One cut, second cut, third cut. Yeah. So let's apply this. Okay. Same idea here. So we'll do like now that my object is truly this, can do loop cuts like this. And I'll do S, X to get them closer. Something like this. Might actually need another one here. Okay. And then perhaps another one. Then here S, Z, something like that. Okay, so we did our own subdivision. Instead of 3 cuts, we did 2 cuts, but we distribute the cuts locations close to the edges so that although I don't have this, if I enable this, it actually have a decent bevel. Instead of having a perfectly straight sort of cut, the cuts are positioned accordingly. We might need more cuts and such, but this might also be good enough too. So we have that sort of curve, you know, the dented corners everywhere. The closer result to reference picture that we are seeing. This is also normal. That's the way the mat cap is working. When we do the segment 1 or 2, it's going to add one more. Because before this, I think look at this. 1, 2, 3. Here's the edge, corner. Let's edge, big edge. The top face. This is the side. So this is the top edge, the side edge, and this is sort of the sharp edge corner, right? When you enable this, this is sort of the reference point, but then the top edge and then the side edge, the way they are positioned, you no longer have the 90-degree turn here. In fact, we do have okay, we have it applied, yeah. So it's as if that sharp corner has disappeared, and then we we have smoother transition. Bump this up to 2. Now we bring the edge back so that we have a more precise or smooth turn there. By precision, I mean visual fidelity, sharpness of it. This is certainly getting less sharp. And this might be good enough because it's going to be visible. That's it. So this, I mean, even this is enough. Because without it, I mean, it kind of looks okay too, but could afford this. So we will have this in 2 modes, either closed or up. So we could handle that in nations perhaps. So without too many details, we have the the curved look of this flippy part. Let's set the origin to somewhere here. We could rotate around that. Perhaps the only thing that I missed was, let me see. I have the edge loops here. I do not have an edge loop here. And then if I exit, I thought I did actually. Maybe I'm wrong. Yes, I never did. So, okay, this looks better. We do have it here. Yeah. We could apply the modifiers and then merge faces. Perhaps we could do that because having 200 triangles for something so simple seems a bit silly. Apply. Where can we optimize this? I think I did have that edge because now I have all those. Oh boy. Undo. I think this is as far back as we can go. Yeah, okay, so screw it up. Go back to the modifier, okay. Do this. Definitely something weird here. So I did have the good cut. So let's move it along X. Apply, exit, apply, enter. Yeah, let's try to dissolve this. It's looking off. Dissolve edges. Okay. Yeah, I can already see really close. Let's dissolve this one too. This one is okay. Bottom, I think we are clear there. This is where we have the extra parts. Yeah, see, this is not doing much either. Same way, this is not doing. Because we already have the curvature. We're already getting close to 100. This is good news. I think, yeah, see, there you go. This is okay. I think we are okay. That 84 makes some sense to me. It's okay. That's it. Here's the object. From this angle, I think it's good. Okay, let's fully flippy. So let's focus on that origin point. So we need something here. I'll just do shift right click, set to a certain point there. Should be most likely a bit more inset. Can I do the inset part? If I do this, it's going to put it on the surface, and here kind of that surface. If I do it this way, in this face, if I do in center, it's going to put it sort of right here, right, like this. I want this to be here. I think if we do it this way, it's going to find, yeah, median point like this, because this is the median point. So if you think about that, if I include more elements here, it's going to push it towards this direction. Save the file. And let's grab some tea. So centering. So we would like to have some, like the origin somewhere in between this. Bounding box center is still going to be pretty flat. You do active elements. Cursor here, and then you do this. Still finds. Okay, because that's the whole bounding box. Not going to make much sense anyway. Yeah. Well, here's the wild guess. Okay. Between this and this. Centered. Is the same. Well, we'll end up moving this. Oh, okay, let's pretend it is so. Oh no, there. Can't see the face properly. Nope, not that one. So we'll do something like this. G, X, M, DX, sort of where we would like to be. We'll do Q, origin to 3D cursor. That's where the origin is. Now we'll update it around Y. That's actually good. Now, because we can always move this around. Okay. In fact, we have to do something like this a little bit. UI doesn't have to snap. Something like this. First, we could have made this slightly larger, or this one smaller. So let's do scale. That's okay. We will hold this, flip it up. UI. So let's focus on the opening here. The back is not concerning me that much. Maybe we'll add this sort of detail here, sort of inset arc. We might do that. So here's a front look. Let's start by separating the front part. Base, okay. Let's do P selection. We call this flippy, that's fine. We may merge this back into the cube. But right now this cube is there. Going to call this box, and the whole thing is just going to be the. Speaking of which, I think at this point it makes sense to put some of these garbage objects into this, specifically camera and the light. Move them to peripherals. Done. Okay, here's our front lid. I'm just deciding whether not having any kind of thickness is going to be a problem or not. It might not be the way we have it in the game. Yes, I'll have to import it and see it. Pretend we don't have it. Maybe we'll have the thickness for this because it is going to be opening and closing, and maybe there's going to be tension drawn to that object. So we definitely have the shape. We need some kind of extruded part here. We put the finger right behind this handle and then pull it down. Here. There's sort of this inset part here, right? Pretty much this shape. See. How do I go about that? If I do suppose you do this, and then extrude in, and then scale it along anything but Y. Shift X. Yeah. You might have to bevel this too. Don't mess with that. So without this, what's happening? Yeah, keep it like this. So the discussion is whether we add thickness to this or not, because this is going to be coming down. This bumpy part, it's going to look bumpy in other words. It has to sort of extend and then close itself. It's to be a solid shape. Now if I solidify this, it's going to solidify it around these edges too. So something like that. It's definitely solidifying everything. However, like we would like this surface to be. We put this right before this it's not going to make much difference because we are essentially after moving these parts in and then closing the object. Right? Right. So in other words, we are going to extrude along X. Okay. Something like that. Maybe that was too much. Okay. In other words, something a little bit dramatic like this. Less dramatic, I see. Now we'll connect these faces. So okay, here's the flat face. Here's the indented part. So then we could put the to choose this edge and then this edge, and we could put the cursor right in between and then quit origin to 3D cursor. So now the rotation is going to be around Y, like okay. That will be. Now we could snap this back. Now we'll discuss whether this is going to have solidify or not. Funny thing is, it's like the house had 1,000 triangles and an object as simple as this has already a quarter of the triangles, right? With the Blender models. Houses. Am I remembering it right? No, I think, yeah, 500. Although sometimes I think this number is wrong. How did I come to that conclusion? Because when I exported this desktop houses, this is what it is. Okay, export. Stop, so I can open it on the houses. But Windows resource. So here triangles is 877. This is why I'm not really trusting Blender when it comes to this statistics. Because this seems too conservative. I mean, look at this number of vertices, 3 times more, 4 times, 3 times more. Now, one thing I know that this is actually doing triangulation by itself. Normally, I didn't put this triangle here. I had a surface like this, so I was looking at the like a quad here, right? So this is doing auto triangulation. I get that. Perhaps if I was smart about it, triangulated this. Can do that. How? It was edit mode selected, right? Ish. Triangulate faces like that. And then I bet if we did that with everything, go in edit mode, for everything. You do this, triangulate, paste it. This is still wrong. Yeah, clearly this balcony here. Okay, so it didn't actually do triangulation for everything. It did 5, 5, 7. Here's the triangle, right? Okay, 5, 5, 7. Imagine this face. Okay, it's either this or that. It doesn't matter. 5, 5, 7. Why is this number not changing? This is seriously stupid. I don't get it. Like this stats business is broken. Sorry about it. Can't rely on that. I bet if I re-exported this number wouldn't change. Makes me think that this is actually true after the auto triangulation. 877. So let's do another test. Overwrite. Okay, that's it. And this is now my manual triangulation. It's actually understanding or remembering it. Whichever one that I didn't do. I don't think I did this one. Here's one that I did, but not this way. Yeah. But why is this not increasing? Just want to look that up because it's stupid. How can I trust it? Blender statistics not updating, or looks like a complex case. Angles not updated. Triangle not. Eight triangles. One quad, two triangles. Second triangle, the opposite triangle. That's 4. There's a flat quad here. That's actually 2 more. There's another flat quad, so that's 8. So this makes sense. Our problem is that it's not updating when it's supposed. As I explained, it's 8. There's a usually more appealing explanation. So that's not really our concern. About the settings here, stats, report. let's say not correct, incorrect. I mean, how could this be? It's like, am I the only one who has this problem? This has been an issue for me. Number of triangles here. Am I missing something obvious the way these stats are counting the triangles? 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Makes sense. Naturally, it's 5 edges, 2 faces. Triangles is 20. Even that is actually wrong. Why would you have 24 triangles? Like, it's clearly updating all the rest. But this triangles is it like it's actually showing the whole object itself? In this case, this part. It's like hard to know what this 24 belongs to. Right? I'm choosing the balcony and I enter. It's 14 triangles, meaning so it's 2 here. Okay, there's also 2 here too. 1, 2, 3, 4 facades times 2 sides, 8. Am I wrong about that? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, both sides, it's 8 times 2, it should be 16. So that's too few. Make sure to see the faces too. In this case, okay, I see there is no face here. Makes me question, where the hell does this belong? Oh boy. Yeah, that belongs to a different object. Okay, so either way, okay, we check the count, that makes sense. Selected object has 14 faces. 14 triangles. That makes 1, 2, we don't count this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 faces times 2 triangles. I get that. And then when I look here, this is 24. Okay, that is. But either way, in total, this still doesn't check out. There's something funny about it. I don't like it. Either way, this number is misleading. So it's never showing the triangulated version, but it's sort of showing the already triangulated, which to a certain extent makes sense. When we select everything, we go into edit mode because we have to triangulate everything. Then we even have fewer now. We went down. That doesn't make much. Of course, I really don't want to do this. If I need to edit stuff, I don't know. Wasted enough time on that. Looks like the blue version of what we are doing, except it's a different kind of. It has a front handle like this. Which one has less geometry? This one might have fewer There's just the two sort of extruded part and then a flat part here too, a cylinder, versus this one. Surprisingly, this might actually have fewer. Maybe I'll try both. Maybe we'll have two versions. Okay. So it was about triangulation, and the issue was that, well, if you think the house model has 500 vertices or triangles, how come this one has 200? Right? That was the main issue. Since we cannot truly trust triangles, we'll just export this to desktop as mailboxes. Okay. So we could actually open it. And we'll see it's actually kind of really 1/4. So 226. 226. So this is a perfect match. So I don't know what happened with the other files. The only time I'm starting a file from scratch anyway. My best guess is whatever those other files have or don't have, that number is not correct. Whatever I'm doing seems to be correct. Go. Do we want to bring this feature to the other side? Probably would. But whatever, that's not really a crucial thing for us. Okay, let's try to do that front part. So we'll sample a face there. Could be one of these faces. We'll separate it and then we'll create a new object. Let's do selection. Could even go in here and do G, Y, or X. Yes, now we'll narrow this, create some kind of curve and extension, solidify. Let's get with it. So S, I'm not going to do S here. I'm going to go in edit mode, select everything as X, Y, something like this, right? So can I get a better look at the front part? Okay. Ooh, okay. They don't have the flat part. We don't care. Because if we don't want to have the flat part here, it means we need to use solidify selection looks okay, right? That's going to add more geometry. I'm okay with my choice. We need a close-up of this area. Okay, I think this is a good one. So some curve. We could do something like select the edges here. Let me do Control B. Am I wrong about this? Control B. Yeah, I'm looking for the curve thing here. With edge slide. Only I could remember what it was. bevel edges, which is nope, definitely not. It's definitely not it. So should I apply the solidify before or after I do the cure? I think I should apply it before. Solidify it. Okay. That might be the... We're going to need this in. Just the thin part, and then we'll do the curved part. Let's pretend this is the extended part, and then we'll extrude it from the top. So let's say this is good enough, and we do bevel. Okay, let's apply this first because I'm not able to select the... So when I do bevel, it's sort of what we want, but we want to have the back side, the other counterpart, it's selected to. We'll curve it around. I think enough, more than enough. And maybe this doesn't have to come up to widening, right? Could squeeze this part. S, Y. Okay, and then maybe we'll do an edge loop here. Not sure why this edge loop is not going all the way around, but something. Probably screwed up something. I think the best way I can do that is now subdivision, and let's select this edge. Should have done this in the back too. Subdivision. I'm going to select this edge loop, GZ. This so I can start extruding from this face, the back. And then maybe we'll do beveling here and there. So this is essentially attaching itself to front part. This is the area. Maybe we don't need, well, unfortunately I cannot really show it in the zoomed version, but we are seeing this welded part to the front. Maybe we don't need that. Maybe we need just the extended sort of curved part coming and attaching itself to the front. In other words, something like this is going to be enough. Maybe we'll delete this back face, but we also need to make this part curved like this. Then it's going to look a bit like this. And maybe that's good enough because our camera angle will be like this. graphic, no one will see it maybe closer than this. Even this is too much detail. You could technically get rid of this face and then we merge this in the middle, so let's see what happens. But not quite there, sort of in your where are you, median point. See what happens. But they are collapsing this, so we kind of wanna, let's see, collapse. We want them to collapse in this direction. Interestingly, cursor. But when I do this, M is actually doing the merge as vertices, right? So it actually thinks of four vertices now. So in edge mode, you kind of want to meld edge roundifier. Maybe that's the one I've been looking for. Okay, I'll try that next time I need some fancy edge. In other words, this is what we are actually looking for. These two will be meeting in the middle, okay? And then these two will be meeting in the middle. That's how you get rid of it. So that's actually, edges are effectively merged. They are not merging the edges, but the effect is as if the edges are merged. And this is where we can also get rid of this part too. So let's dissolve the vertices, of course. Work like that sometimes, and you delete them. You delete them, it's the same old problem. Sometimes you just have to know. Okay. This is okay. It's actually even going to triangulate it by itself. Okay. What happened to this face? Oh, when I separated that. That's nasty. Actually, that looks like normals are off. What's happening? It's see-through. What is happening here? Whoa, okay. That was weird. Sure. You could also delete the back face here too. Because we will never ever get to see these faces. But only the sides. I mean, technically, if you want to push it, you could delete more. So we'll snap this to... This one is going to go in X. And we'll take it down a bit. Because you kind of got... So here is the mailbox. Save the file. Could also snap, say this is the handle, right? Handle is going to be attached to this door. This is gonna be parented to this, and then this has to be parented to this area, but it's actually gonna snap to the edge. AX this. Actually worried about is that it's RY. It's actually snap perfect. This. Okay. This is gonna be parented to this box, and then this is already part of that. So this handle, flippy, not flippo. So now we have the box itself. Okay, this is properly dimensioned and such. So overall, I think this is where we get the trouble with the Blender's triangle calculation. Suddenly this number doesn't seem high because I ended up parenting things. Okay, so if I export this to FBX, let's open the original one so we can 226. And now when everything is parented, 270. It is not including the, okay, this is correct. So then what I was saying earlier with the other files, the other files must have something wrong, because throughout this fresh file, we are in a good shape. Don't quite know what must have happened with the other files, because even when we parent it, everything seems to be correct. So we could definitely put the center here and there, but we also need the post. It's essentially cube, but a cube. We'll scale this down. Just the scales. I mean, apply the scales. We want to scale this in Z. Let's make this 1 meter. Suppose that should be right. Let's make it 135. Okay. And maybe 0.10. A bit sturdier, like. Not sure if I should bother with the bevel. Do the rotation scale application. We should put this. Should place this in the center first. Go to edit mode. Select the bottom face. This, which will also help us delete that face because we don't really need it. But before I do the deletion, I will hold the cursor, then delete the face. Quit. Origin to 3D. It. Now we'll move this to element here, so we'll do right now we put this grid snap. Good enough. So question is whether I make the post as the root object or the box in this. But before I move forward, launch option step. Back soon. Okay, so we are still designing this box, almost finished. There was a decision point and I care of the launch option, and we could also delete this top face too because it's going to be under box. Speaking of which, the under part of the mailbox could be deleted too, except when the lid is open, we are going to see the inside part. That's not really a good option. If anything, if there are some faces that will never be seen, such as the perhaps when this is flipped, we won't see the the side that is facing toward side, right? You rotate this around Y, you're essentially going to see this part. That's the problem. This is the problem. Okay, so let's just leave it the way it is. Maybe a better discussion is call this post, and we'll move this. Well, first of all, bottom of this is the origin. Okay, then we move it all the way to the top so that it snaps to the edge. Do GZ this edge, and that's sometimes horrible like that, but now let's do GZ top to bottom. Okay, that's it. So this post is going to be moved to this area, and we could make the box for the post let's make the post the child of box. The only problem is this is the origin here is already done. So then let's make this one child of this, so we don't have to do origin recalculation again. It wasn't a big deal, but now when you move this around, date it and such, this, did I not click it? Like this. So here's a mailbox. Okay, we create different styles here. And each one of those styles will be a new collection. So I think between this and this, there is a style, sort of like this handle style difference. There's a bit of fancy white part here. You don't care. I think I'll create another style. So this is Pittinger, post mounted mailbox. What is this? Folder post mounted. You just call them type 1, type 2. We've already been using something like this. So type 1, 2. Each line is separate string. Okay, let's do this. Lowercase. I'm gonna remember this anyway from other models we have designed. So this is a miscellaneous prop. It's a mailbox, so we'll do it like this. always singular. Here's one style. Okay, type 1. Here's type 2. And type 2 will be a duplicate. We could have a smart duplicate about this. Duplicate. Cursively duplicate the collection. All its children objects linked object data. And then I think with the handle I will separate it. So let's do this. Okay. This is the type 2. This could still be post. I don't think it should actually be. Automatically does it. Maybe that won't be an issue in Godot. One thing we can definitively do is let's click this post and do this increment to it. Let's do AX. Move it here. What I want to show is that here's a handle. Enter edit mode. Select an edge. You just have to break that connection, because otherwise it's going to update this one too. So we have to clean the data, and a good way of doing that is that it's actually sharing its mesh data. This is the same cube 003. If you click this, it's the same one. In fact, it's actually shared by 2. So just make this unique, and now when you edit this, it is not going to change. Kind of starting from this point, I didn't have to, but just sort of tutorial moment. Because I could create this object from scratch or just work this one out to look like this. In other words, this handle, there is going to be something called handle parented to this door. Door is actually the same door. Okay, yeah, it is essentially a cylinder, longer cylinder attached to 2 smaller cylinders with a bit of washer there. Okay, so we could try to do that. Here's our door, edit mode. I think I'll eyeball it. Okay, in here is its handle. I'll enter the edit mode and add, and I'll add cylinder. It's going to be huge. Not sure if that kind of detail will matter. Radius will most likely be this. Wheel is there. Hold up. X. Okay, it's huge. I'll distribute this to both sides. I'll probably mirror it around a certain object. Definitely the back face has to be gone. Face has to be gone. Now I can delete this basis and bring this face in. And the whole thing can actually. Not sure if this thickness is gonna be noticed. Might be. I honestly think it won't be. Let's see. We'll eventually do something like this. Okay, and then extrude it from there. So we'll have something like this. This is the object that's going to be. So I'll move this in G, Y. Can we do a mirror modify here? And in Z. Wrong. Okay, I always think of this as sort of like rotation. Maybe this should go in Y. Correct. But like I expected it to be here. We do Z. Okay, it's doing it according to this point. Where is the cursor? Okay, my understanding of this is move the cursor here. Kind of feels wrong, but why is this not perfectly centered? There. Something else? Okay, I think it's putting this up. Either way, it is like this. Okay, that's what we are. So you do BZ, something like this, and then you'll snap to this face. Okay, you do BX. This, and now we need another cylinder here. And that could just be a unique cylinder. Okay. With our reference, getting there. Oops. Yeah, almost there. Because the thickness is not that important. Thinking, could I utilize this? And then kind of like the size of that. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll enter this, select this part and the top. Okay. Separate it from the right by selection. However, when I do this, I think I'm destroying the object. Yeah. What I need to do is duplicate. Shift T will adjust you. Don't worry. No, just P by selection. I did not mean this. This one separate by selection. Object mode. Good. This. Okay. So now, even these faces can go. Okay. Going to be covered, and this object is going to be rotated around Z 90 degrees. So of course rotating around some our center point. We'll move it soon, but I'm moving. Just move you out, sir, because we'll change the edge selection. G, okay, do G, Y, send it like that. We'll center it eventually, either eyeball it or something. And a bit more. That is the object. Now what we need here is close that. Good. Now this could be slightly bigger or not. Here the same size, we could do that too. Just have to if the top was flat, it would actually match this flat part here too. We could rotate this around its axis, or hope that it doesn't really matter. So in other words, this has to be now mapping to edges or surfaces. So G, X, the height is important. The whole point here. Save. Oh. Kinda there. Alright, let's bring this in. What I was talking. This is okay actually, there's sort of like welding there. As long as it's not sticking out like. We could center it between two. What the? going to be here. So let's do that increment. Yeah, GZ, I mean GY. Why it's doing this? There. It's done. Save. This looks decent to me. Yeah. Good thing there. So now that's our new handle. And soon I will handle the lunch. It's arriving. So we have these two. We could apply the mirror. See that? Oops. Okay. So this whole thing, let's join it. Okay, we'll call this handle, which is the handle. And there's only, this is the duplicate handle from. When I do this, does it? Okay, it's the same. Yeah, it doesn't think of this as a new object sort of hierarchy under this. There can only be one handle in the whole scene. Anyway, this handle is now part of the door. So you do Control P, this the door, is the flippy. So now we have two models. Origin point, everything is good. So after the lunch break, I'll be importing these models into Godot to see if I need to increase the detail in certain areas. However, this might be enough. The orthographic view, maybe the camera angle is not quite the way we have it in Godot. And maybe I will investigate the animation options. Have a closed door or closed door, and also we could have the flippy part up. So that will happen after the lunch break. Later. Okay. Go back and check our work. So I think we are finished with this. So I said before the break that I would take this in Godot, do that, or I could, let's pretend we have a material, or we could work out a procedural system to create missing materials, so we could assign colors. So I'll try to look up the video that I saw on YouTube. It trying to, it's maybe my other account. I may have to switch accounts. The plugin, right? What was it called? Which accounts, and then I'll find. I'll look in my subscriptions. Curtis Holt. I think that was the channel. Let's see. The easiest way to make add-ons for Blender. There is a plugin that he talked about, Easy BPY and Serpents. Deleted. Look at it. About visual scripting and such. Instead of writing code like this, we are writing it with like this. Challenge that I have is that I'm going to read a file. If this Serpents is offering a file reading, that because I'm going to need a list of strings. Let's see if they have documentation. Code file. Read, file read. So this looks like developer documentation. Sure, okay, but how about maybe what I would like to see is so eventually I will expose some buttons that will ask me to load a file, and after the file has been recognized, we have to do reading operations and such. Would that even be done here in Serpents? Should be. Okay, where is the documentation on how to use that? So we have to go this. Nope. Nope. Okay, so the UX problem, definitely, I just want to use it and see what it can offer. There is no direct link to their website, or there is? Okay. There isn't. So I'm trying to understand and maybe buy it, but it's not this. Sure. Back to square one. Let me see those objects. Panel for each interface. That's promising. I'll read something like the functions. See, this is what I want to see. Not how to develop it. None of that developer Python. So if we could have a function to read files, and I could bind the output of that file, then use this for each on each string that I'm reading, then we might be getting somewhere. And also one of those functions, if it is create a material, so that I could just want to see functions. Okay. Okay, I honestly need to see it. I don't want to watch dozens of videos to get a chance of, seeing a function list, like getting started. We've gone through this, right? Just want to see it. Again, this is just a Python reference. I don't need this. I need to see how it's used. Fuck this. I'm getting antsy here. Irritated, really. Is it listing all available Python functions or not, is the question. Guess I could spend $15 to find out. But see, before people make a decision about the product, it would be nice to know its features so that it doesn't turn into guesswork. want to see a list of functions. What can I serpents list of functions. Definitely not astronomy. And then there's this easy UI. Which actually brings a lot of helper methods like that. I like that because some of the stuff that is asked for, this mundane stuff that was hidden behind a lot of import statements and such, that this is actually a handy method. Do you guys have a documentation? Now I would like to see your function list. But files, no. Create image, not from the file system. Learn, documentation, anything of that sort. So, full list of, okay, wiki page. The long constraints. I see, okay. Common workflow function. Organize this. For collections, input, output, let's see. Text files. Get lines in text object, text name. Create text file. Creates a text file. How about reading a text file? Get lines in text object. There has to be an input output. That's not it. Drivers. It's about Blender drivers. Miscellaneous. Data management. Objects. It's about, okay. Blender objects, not necessarily sort of files. Right? They are not going to stick that stuff. Primitives, yes. So I don't think anyone needs to read files really. File. There's something Blender read file. What's on read? So it's just going to be normal Python stuff. Here's the path. Okay. Yeah, I'll purchase it. Whatever. Might have an account. Let's see. Blender market. Something I do. Username. Let's try to purchase it. Edit view card. You need PayPal. Pay off screen. Okay, so now what do we do? There are all the previous versions of, and I think on their website they were talking about installation, right? That's the missing website, yeah. Sure. In the video they were talking. You see visual scripting options based on a custom. Okay. Want to try it for free? Click here to get a test. Sure. The version 2.0 or one of the. So that's the helpful video. Okay, just download it. Opening the zip. Here's a zip. Blender Visual Scripting add-on. I think I'm putting this in the add-ons folder. Just somewhere. in C, program files, Blender, Station. I think there is a way to add scripts sort of version agnostic. Is per users IM app data roaming, I think Blender. Either way, it's still going to put it here. It's a different path, but same idea. So we'll just move this in. Continue. So it's Blender Visual Scripting add-on. Come here, save the file. Save Visual. Fresh. Serpents, okay, node. Editors, visual scripting. We enable it. This is add-ons inside this add-on. I see. So it's basically perhaps enabled. Batch material settings. Okay. Well, we'll do a batch material creation level. By defined settings to materials. 3. Batch material, I see. So where do we put this add-on? Inside this add-on? Under this here. See, for that, I don't think we are getting enough help here. Because this is about extending and developing product. Okay, so there is definitely a packages folder. Checks us this. So where do you put the add-ons? Let's read it. So where do we go from here? Easily move objects to open a website in the browser. This is JSON file. Curious to know this JSON file. Function. All the inputs and connections. Doing something. Okay, either way, let's say we want to create something that doesn't exist here. We did this. What's next? Is if they created a new workspace here? This, right? That. Sure. Okay. Okay, perhaps we're let's keep watching. Okay, that's where I'll start doing crazy stuff, which is material maker. Author is me. Yes, we do Shift A here, right? Okay. Functions, input, file stuff, input output, boolean. Color is going to be okay. String. Going to read a file if possible. Okay, here's a string, so maybe we'll have an array or something. Land data, get data, set data, serial nodes, text data collection. Converter, events, functions, function return, just a function. What's the function? It's just a function that will feed into, okay. Interface. Get element of list. So something here about input list. Okay. Add this socket to, how do you do this? Were they doing it as shift? How about we, okay, kind of feed in create folder for each program. Logic. Join string list is in list. We are getting somewhere. I could get a text area, right? I could paste the array of text, so reading it from a file. It's a bit lame, but sure. Let's pretend that's not what we are doing. Or let's do this. Here's a string. Let's duplicate this. So here's a list. Can we bind multiple here? This is going to overwrite this one. Do this. So here's a list. Okay. We'll try to output something to the console maybe. We'll do shift or click this shift, okay. It's like logic, right? For each. You could combine the strings. Okay. So we are assuming it's combining foobar and coobar, combined string. And maybe we'll do output. Something like print. Right? Here's what we are trying to print. Doesn't execute. It's what is it saying? Content. That's what we are binding here, green to green. And this is actually print method itself, I believe. Okay. Execute. program like run. Is that what it is? Can we see it here? So running a script, let's see if we can do sort of like a console log, right? Console. But I thought printer is actually using it, which we just do here. Execute. Run script. So I could have essentially done this print. But do I do this compile? Successfully compiled material maker. Okay. Serpents, material maker. Here's a save add-on. I see. Okay. Should probably fill out all this too. But I have not provided a way to run this script. I provided it here. The rules of it. And also see this here, right? Material maker. Here it is. It's as if, because I don't have any interface here. Let's create a panel. Compile. So here's a new panel with the label. Properties window. So it's actually here. Render. Okay. Select this location for your panel. I see. It's something somewhere, but let me check this. Unique context. Oh, we could pick anywhere we want, I think. Remember watching a tutorial. Unique context render on. So technically it could be here too, right? Material on here. Fantastic panel. It's empty. So perhaps this panel need button. And the button will have this, so auto compile is on, right? So compile it again. custom operator. Use the label. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm not leaving any crap around. It is really only here, which is empty. Did I have add socket at this? Okay. So it could have a label, text, a label, filed. Category is 3D view. Okay. That's when, okay, when you go to the add-on parts in the settings. Okay, this is sort of like a metadata stuff, right? We cannot see it here because we have to hit this manually. My label, fantastic. Okay, this is just another. Don't really need this. So here's the text. I thought I would actually have a text here. What if I have another panel here? Just a label. Is maybe this label. This should be possible. Label. Different. Okay, this is actually a connector. Connector. Let's see. Wait. Here's a connector. Keeps disappearing here. I don't quite know why. Like, I know that this autocompile is sort of doing it, but why do you keep disappearing, sir? Autocompile is true. Don't do this, just do this. Stay there. Let's see some options here. Blender icon, select icon. Just for no obvious reason, something like this. Okay. Next. Wow. Bingo. Okay. Interface. Sub panel. Add to menu. Add to panel. Button. Pop over. Property. The box. Okay. So we still didn't connect this button exactly. Custom operator. But we cannot even see this, which kind of makes me think it should be this. So successfully compile, so then do it. select a different icon. This. So, okay. Pick this globe. Wow, okay, clearly you are doing something. The button is not displayed. Paste operator. I see. So we kind of need an operator or something like that. So what am I imagining here? Ideally, I would read the values from an array that is coming from a JSON file, but if I'm given a text area, I could paste the array. So I should be doing some kind of for each, and then there has to be a button that actually triggers this event. Open dialog box and then put a text field in it. Okay. So for input, when we say that list, it's actually a Python list, like an integer float. It's not exactly text input. That is considered an interface, sort of like a button, right? That's an interface. So here, just like label, you need a text input. Don't see really. Let's create a separator. Okay. This is the part that doesn't make much sense to me. It's like, okay, we keep adding more panels here to add, no, not this. To add this, see, why is this not connecting something? Okay, now it's fine. Compile, okay, here's a separator. And then let's create this and then attach this to this. We should see my label. Okay, so here's a separator by factor of some this. So where is the button then? Let's say this is my top thing, right? Here's the icon. Fine. That's fine. Let's say I want to, yes, do this separator. And then I want to have a button. And then after the button, I will have another text label. So where's the button? Because this is working. It's connecting to green label. Function, label function. Default closed. about box or something. There was something about interface. Inside that we are going to have my layer. Okay. We could definitely do something. I think I'm going to keep discovering this. Time to take a long break, and not sure when I'll be back, so I'm going to conclude the stream at this point. So we may see each other on Sunday, maybe sooner, I don't know, but we will either investigate this or keep doing the mailbox and inputting it to Godot. For the time being, that's it. Good afternoon and good weekend, good Friday night.